authorities of the federal government, members of a diplomatic community, and ambassadors, please be welcome to this inauguration ceremony for the establishment of the CELAC-EU University Council in Mexico, whose purpose is to consolidate this space as a space for science, technology, and higher education in the region. We welcome Luis Armando González Plasencia, General Secretary of the ANUYES. We also have Esteban Moctezuma Barragan, Ambassador of Mexico to Belgium, the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, and the European Union. Bogumila Kaniewska, President of a Conference of Rectors of Academic Schools of Poland. Luciano Conchero Bojorges, a federal educational authority based in Mexico City. Victor Valtierra Perez, General Director for American Mechanisms of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Arturo Chervolsky Lask, Executive Director of Santander Universidades and General Director at Universidad Mexico. We will now proceed to the interventions from each of the members of the Presidium. So we will welcome and give a round of applause to Felix Garcia Lausin, General Executive Director of the CELAC-EU Council.
What was that?
So first of all, good morning. I want to begin by sending my best regards to Luis Hermano González Plasencia and to Esteban Moctezuma Barragan, Ambassador of Mexico to Belgium, European Union, and Luxembourg. Luciano Conchero Borges, Federal Authority of the Ministry of Education, Mr. Armando Paredes of the CONACYT, and Victor Valtierra Perez, Director of Regional American Educational Mechanisms, and Arturo Chervolsky Lask, Executive Director of Santander Universities, and of course also ambassadors and members of the diplomatic community of the CELAC and the European Union based in Mexico, and also the European Union delegation in Mexico City, and also send our regards out to the CONACYT and Dr. Pedro Moctezuma Barran. Thank you for being here. So first of all, as you already know, what we're celebrating is the inauguration of the CELAC-EU University EU University Council in Mexico. This institution has a constitution that was developed in 2007 in San Salvador, El Salvador, that brings together the higher institutions of the CELAC and the EU. It brings together the different ANUYES using the Mexican acronym of both regions with a purpose that is very clear, which is to contribute to bi-regional partnerships and to build agreements that are being adopted as part of this regional partnership, trans-regional partnership, and building a common area for science, technology, education between CELAC and the EU. And I hope that this space, which we've been speaking of in different summits between Mexico, Latin America, and the Caribbean since 1999, since we had our first bi-regional summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Since then, there have been many other declarations and statements on this purpose, which is to promote a common area. And since 1999, it has been unequally successful in the sense that we have yet to achieve a pathway that is continuous and reinforces cooperation in technology, science, and education in this region. The effort remains, and in the first summit that we mentioned that took place in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in the next summit, which took place in Madrid in 2002, we developed a pathway, and in 2010, an initiative that has that is the Innovation EU CELAC route, and we've taken steps forward, but what we seek is to add and to support and receive the support of the different national associations for higher education in the region, and do so in an open way that integrates the different stakeholders that must be a part of this effort and its success. And you may ask, how do you ensure that how do you decide to install this in Mexico City? Well, I don't want to bore you with numbers and meetings, but when you look at the roadmap, what is certainly true is that Mexico has been a central part in very important moments at the Guadalajara Summit of 2004, where we had representation of university authorities, and Mexico also played an important role in 2016 in that summit. I'll also call the summit of presidents of councils of rectors of Europe and Latin America and the Caribbean, which led to the next year so next year's creation of the University Council, CELAC-EU, and in 2025, the third academic summit, CELAC-EU, which sought to provide more support for this effort. And since 2025, ANUYES and the University Council CELAC-EU, and if the executive secretary of the ANUYES allows me to say so, I think we've been quite successful because it's been less than 1 year since that summit, the CELAC-EU summit, and now we have this inauguration, and I need to thank you all for taking the time to be here today, and we're pleased to continue receiving the support of the Mexican government, who supported us last year through its Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through the Ministry of Education, the Center for Technology and Innovation, and also we are quite happy to be able to have the president of the Conference of Rectors of Poland, dear Bogomila. Poland is going to host the next summit for our council, which take place every 2 years. And even though I mentioned him at the end, it's occurring with the support of University Santander, and this would be well, sorry for speaking for so long, but those are the advantages when you're the first one to speak. You are not as constrained by time. So thank you very much. Before continuing, we want to welcome Gerardo Tamayo Castro Paredes, the Director for Institutional Cooperation at CECITI. Also, Pedro Moctezuma Barragan, Minister of Education, Science and Technology at the government of Mexico City, and also the Ambassador of the Czech Republic, Mr. Tomás Hart, the Ambassador of Chile in Mexico, Francisco Chawan, and the Ambassador of Honduras in Mexico, Carlos Eleonora Ertes Williams. We will now give the floor to Arturo Chebosky-Lask, Executive Director of Santander Universidades and General Director of University of Mexico, General Secretary, and everyone who is here today. Welcome. When Felix Garcia Lausin came to me and told me that there was an effort being undertaken to install after this roadmap that he mentioned for the creation of a CELAC-EU University Council in Mexico City, and that we required an effort and the support of many actors to make this come true. My response was, of course, we're going to join this effort. And of course, we want to be a part of this, which we think is going to be very successful. Why this passion and why agree to this? Because university cooperation between the European Union and Latin America is key and has been fundamental for the development of institutions on both sides of the ocean. And this has been difficult. It has not been easy. There are institutions with different interests, different realities, different states of development. However, if we have a single purpose, which is to push forward science, technology, and research, and as a mechanism which seeks regional integration and a better sense of relations. And through our shared work with CELAC-EU in promoting these common spaces for university collaborations, Santander Universidades, well, it was clear to us that we had to participate, and we are convinced that having this office in Mexico creates much traction and allows the creation of certain projects that are tied to the realities of the region, and we can continue building bridges with universities in the European Union. So I want to thank everyone here today and the government of employees, and please know that you have the support of Santander Universidades, and we will be collaborating from today forward on many projects, and we hopefully will see the fruit of this work that has been taken place for more than 20 years. So thank you for your interest. And now let's pull up our sleeves and start working, and let's create very important projects. Thank you. We now invite Victor Valtierra Perez, General Director for Regional Mechanisms at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, and to our distinguished members of the Presidium. I adhere to the protocol and send my best regards from our Mr. Foreign Affairs, Roberto Velasco Alvarez, who thanks you for the invitation and apologizes for not being uh, able to attend today, and also sending my best from my boss, Daniel Tamara. On behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I want to extend a warm congratulation for the establishment of this office of the CELAC-EU University Council for the government of Mexico. It is great news to have this office that shows the shared commitment between Latin America, the Caribbean, and the EU. It is one of the most institutionalized bi-regional offices in our country between CELAC and foreign region. In the last 20 years, we've developed a shared cooperation agenda, which now supports digital transition, climate change, health, innovation, and also, as per the needs of our populations, it continues to grow in and helps us better face global challenges. We celebrate that educational topics and aspects related to academic themes between both regions are increasingly more present in this important institution, which is the CELAC-EU University Council. The establishment of this office is the fruit of sustained work of an initial idea which sought to institutionalize what we an idea that was brought to the table in 2017 in El Salvador, in creating a permanent space for dialogue and collaboration. And now we have a space to conduct this work. And recently, last year, as was mentioned in the third summit of knowledge, CELAC-EU, we promoted the building of a partnership for cooperation between higher education institutions. The University Council, CELAC-EU, is going to play a role in analyzing and promoting the agreements reached and turning them into mechanisms for academic, scientific, and technologic partnership. The government of Mexico, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, supports the work of this CELAC-EU University Council, and together with our presidency, pro tempore presidency at the CELAC in which is currently Uruguay, we will continue supporting this work that fosters technology, science, and education. Promoting education means promoting collaboration between our regions and greater integration. We wish much success to this CELAC-EU University Council. Thank you. Thank you. And we now want to thank Violeta Vázquez Roscas, Under Secretary for Education at CECITI. We'll now give the floor to Luciano Conchero Bojorquez. Sorry, microphone is off. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I want to send my greetings to the Presidium and also to the Ambassador Esteban Moctezuma Barragan, as well as the different ambassadors present here today, and also the Secretary of the CECITE of Mexico City, Pedro Moctezuma Barragan. We thank Anoyes for receiving us here today and also the dedication of those who have made the inauguration of the CELAC-EU University Council office a reality in Mexico City. It's an example of the central role that education plays in education processes and our logic of solidarity between Latin America, the Caribbean, and the European Union, as well as the relevance that education has to our governments as an engine for development and well-being in our countries. Mexico receives this office with the conviction that international cooperation is strengthened when we build through mutual respect, dialogue among equals, and co-responsibility. Latin America, the Caribbean, and Europe share a long history of academic exchange, scientific and cultural exchange as well, but also a conviction that knowledge is a public and social good that is capable of transforming our realities and building better scenarios for the future. Higher education institutions have historically been one of the most important bridges between our societies and through the mobility of teachers and students, academic networks, and programs, specialized programs that have contributed to build shared knowledge and build generations committed to the development of their communities. The installation of this office brings a new opportunity to strengthen these ties and bring new institutions to the table who can work together in these bi-regional cooperation spaces. And in this sense, it's important to promote lifelong learning, expand remote learning opportunities in our regions, and contribute to expand the research capabilities and the promotion of infrastructure, and to facilitate the formation of talent and a transfer of knowledge that strengthens our scientific and institutional capabilities in both regions. We believe, and we are living a transformation in technology that is unprecedented. AI, digitalization, and other emerging technologies must be accompanied by a strong ethical formation that allows us to use technology in a responsible way that respects human rights and promotes a social mission. Aside from this being a social space, it is a space to cooperate between teachers, students, organizations, communities of scientists in our regions. This office must be a place where we can conduct dialogue and build together and create knowledge that becomes part of a common strength where science, culture, and technology continue being a bridge to a more solid identity between our regions. Thank you. Thank you. We now welcome Maria del Carmen Cárdenas, Undersecretary for Science and Technology at the Government of Mexico City. Thank you. We now wish to give the floor to Bogumila Kaniewska, President of the Conference of Rectors of Academic Schools of Poland.
Dear friend, all the outstanding guests, it's a great pleasure for me and a great honor to take part in such important event as opening of the Office for CELAC-EU. And I would like to say that we are very grateful to our friends from Mexico and from ANUS and CELAC for the very good atmosphere in which we are talking about our cooperation. I mean we, because we are 3 persons from Poland, my friends from Warsaw and Kraków also. We represented the Conference of Rectors of Academic Schools in Poland, which was formed in 1997. So it means next year we will be celebrating the 30th anniversary of our work. And on this occasion, we will be very proud that together with the ceremony of the 30th anniversary of our conference, we can invite the summit of CELAC-EU to Poland, to Kraków, which is a very, I hope, which is very significant, and it should show that we are very interested in cooperation, not only inside Europe, but also outside Europe. I believe that science, higher education should develop by dialogue with different partners, with exchange different experience, not only our home experience, but also outside the experience of our regions, like Latin America and Caribbean. We have already very good experience. We were the honor to take part in the 3rd summit here in Mexico last year, and we will do everything to make our cooperation stronger, to develop science, to work for young people. And during the discussion we had yesterday, we could exchange our experience about the situation of university, of higher school institution in modern turbulent world, and we know that we have common problems and we have common challenges we should also solve together. So I wish all the best, all the success to this initiative, to this office, and to all the initiatives you are taking here in Latin America, and also of these international initiatives in which we are very fond to take part, especially, let me say it, Poland is present very intensive in history and in the modern life of Mexico and also the whole Latin America. A lot of our Polish people came here seeking for peace, for work, in the 19th century and during the Second World War, and we are very grateful for creating the new home for our citizens, and I'm sure the friendship between our regions will be even stronger due to our academic collaboration. Thank you very much.
Esteban Moctezuma Barragán, Ambassador of Mexico to Belgium, the European Union, and the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg through Zoom. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to greet all the members of the Presidium. I'm very thankful to be at the Inauguration institution, which I greatly respect, and also, and especially in the context of the opening of the CELAC EU University Council in Mexico. Once this is formalized, well, I'm currently an observing ambassador, but I will be presenting my credentials very soon. I wanted to be here to reiterate the importance of this effort and the role of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the interest of Secretary Velasco in working in a decided manner, not only in transferring goods and services, because the modernized global agreement is not only commercial, it is an agreement that's also cultural. It's an agreement that traverses every sector of the agreement, and we will be sharing values. And that's very important in the current world where we're redefining ideas and values. I believe that the relationship between the European Union and Mexico is at an excellent point, and it's a great moment to work together and flourish and create projects that bring us closer together, especially when it brings people together. Thank you for the invitation. I'm only an observer today, but highly enthusiastic in the in this event. Thank you, Luciano, for the invitation. We thank Luis Armando Gonzalez Plasencia, General Director of Vanuyas, Mexico. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a true pleasure to have you here at the home of higher education centers of Mexico, which will now also be the home of the CELAC-EU University Council. So I want to thank the designated ambassador, Mr. Moctezuma Barragan. He has stated that he's an observer, but once that his designation is official, we will be working together with him to strengthen the ties between the universities of Latin America and the universities of Europe. Thank you, dear Luciano Conchero, who's been a pillar to make this project a reality. And thank you for your intervention as well, and inviting Ambassador Moctezuma as well. I want to greet, well, everyone has been duly introduced, but I want to greet our Secretary of Science and Technology of Mexico City and our colleagues of the CECITI who are here and those who are also part of the diplomatic corps of accredited in Mexico. Welcome. And to our friends who are here in representation of Polish universities, well, we've already had a conversation with them, not in the context of what we are establishing today, but we can speak of an important relationship between Polish universities in the context of our of the summit that will take place in Krakow next year for science, technology, and innovation. We had an excellent meeting yesterday, and we've been able to share. Well, they've tried the worms of maguey. They've tried escamoles. They said they like them, and I hope it's true. And it's been an excellent experience to share with them. And also the CECITI, we please send our best to the director of the CECITI and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Their support to these efforts is essential as it reinforces the necessary framework for our work. And we also would like to underscore the importance of the work of Santander and our friend Arturo Czarpovsky, who has been able to promote this project, who, as Felix said, has a long history in terms of an aspiration first and then a short history, because we started discussing the possibilities to of bringing it to fruition less than a year ago. We met, we spoke of the importance of building a space for dialogue between the different educational institutions of Latin America with similar ones in Europe. Felix, you know him, of course. He's supported these efforts through the QUIP to bring together Latin American universities, and now we will be doing this with Felix at the front of this effort with European institutions, and this will consolidate the identities of our university institutions. And we spoke yesterday about the importance of building trust and promoting the strengths of our institutions in the face of the new innovations that we have in our world: artificial intelligence, micro-credentials, this brave new world. But we need to certainly do our best to make sure that our universities do not enter a greater crisis than the one that we are already facing. So thank you, Felix, for being here, and I'm very happy that we'll be beginning the work of the CELAC-EU University Council today. It's very symbolic that you are here today. This strengthens the leadership of our association of Mexican universities in different contexts. If we could move the continents a bit, we could maybe share a border one day, and maybe that way Mexicans could go to Europe to study and Europeans could come to Mexico as well. But I know this isn't possible, but Mexico is an important link between two cultures with whom we share much in common, but we're also united by a diversity that makes us unique and which allows us to share much more than education. And we mentioned the arts and whatnot. And through the work we'll be doing together, we'll be able to develop this. So thank you. Thank you, Felix. Thank you to the Anuyes, and thank you to our strategic partners. And it's a pleasure to have you here this morning in which we celebrate. Thank you. Thank you.
Vamos a develar la placa que simbólicamente da inicio a los trabajos del Consejo Universitario CELAC Unión Europea. Nos da muchísimo gusto que nos acompañen. ¿Quieres decir unas palabras?
Bueno, como decía el secretario general ejecutivo, les agradecemos mucho que nos acompañen. Nosotros estamos felices, espero que ustedes también, un poquito, y vamos a proceder cuando quieras, querido Luis Armando.